How are you on all stages?
Because I grew up by myself.
Okay.
I raised up myself. I've been a parent to my parents.
All right, submission. I think that we will have another conversation more deep on that, but first your submission. I want to turn and say, the man in me.
It's okay for a man to cry. Yeah. And most people think crying is not about tears. Because anytime you have a complaint in you where you are not satisfied or anything, that feeling is a man is crying. And everybody is crying here. That moment when they're asking money from you back home, the responsibility, you think you are a working horse, you should work for your family. You think none of you have noticed, I've never heard about men speaking about women's money. They make money, but never see it, right?
True.
So, we have men here who have paid fees for women to go back to school, and when they upgrade, it is okay to know their rights. It's okay to be themselves. It's okay for them to have something and think that they are more powerful than you, so you can't rule them without. You can feed her for 30 days. But if they If a man feeds a lady for 10 years, it's okay. It's understandable. When you break up, nobody lists the 10 years of you feeding her. If she feeds you for 3 weeks, no respect, you won't be talking.
Just a quick one on to that one. Don't you think when we go back to maybe to society and also maybe the Bible, because the Bible tells us from our sweatings women will get what to eat. I think it's just fair for women to say, I just need your responsibility as a man to feed you. So let me shout about it. Yeah.
The Bible tells us wrong.
It's getting interesting.
It tells us wrong. Because you can't tell me you give birth to kids you are not ready to sacrifice for. It is important for us to know the condition we live in and who is who. You're a mother. Literally, do you notice you guys, as you grow older, you see like kids love their mothers more than their fathers?
Yeah. That's true.
And if they are to give, if you receive a gift as a dad,
yes,
most men think even you don't deserve a body lotion or whatever. How many of you have 2 wallets here? 2 wallets, just a wallet. You have an extra wallet on you.
Right now?
No. How many wallets do you have? How many of you here has more than 1 wallet?
Wallet.
Wallet.
Yes. I have one.
You have 1, right? You have more than 1? How many of you? Do you have more than 1?
I only have 1.
How many women we have here that has 1 wallet? Even though, not a bag, just a wallet.
More than 1. I think no one. They don't have wallets.
Women always give themselves more. That's all. Men cry every day. Just this. You know, I don't listen to the tears, because tears, they might be for joy, and they might be for being sad.
Yeah.
So at the end point, I don't know whether you're crying for being happy but crying for men is normal. But most importantly, what I wanted to say, after pain, weak people get a lesson. Anything that hurts you from childhood, even though they beat you up for something, you talked about food and church. The pain that you had, you not eating, that's why you went to church.
And that's why I'm so committed to church. Thank you very much, Mr. Ronnie. And I think it goes back to the point, what the point has raised is, now what I understand from Mr. Ronnie is that we also cry, but in different styles. You can even cry inside. You say, oh my God, why is this happening to me? You cry. But Judge Willoughby had a submission. Ladies and gentlemen, what we are trying to do, we are digesting and we're kind of breaking it down the presentation and the flow that was really said by Tony. So Judge Willoughby, you need a mic, and then I also had one person from the audience, and I think Mr. Innocent, he was there saying, I need to say something, you know? So I'll have Mr. Innocent to add on something onto that, yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Swiss Mark. From my perspective, from a father's perspective, I believe that Tony made very brilliant submissions and the stages. However, when you look at the molding of a man that we are talking about, starts from that child, that babyhood. Because when you look at a man, a boy and a girl, they grow up in different natural instincts. As a man, like just this morning, I want to give you a typical example with this morning with my son, who is 2 years old. So he wakes up in the morning and then he's crying. He's crying because it's cold. So now the mom is trying to wipe him off, and then the mother is like, oh baby, sorry, you're going to be okay. Then I knelt down and I looked into the boy's face and told the boy, Almo, you're strong. You're strong. And then, you strong men don't feel cold. You're not going to feel cold anymore. Mom is going to wipe you. And then he stops crying. But why does he stop crying? Because there is that instinct of manhood in him, even as a child. So what does it mean? It is, yes, crying, yes, this, but then there is that inner strength that as a man, we must instill in this boy to become the man that we are talking about, that will go through all these stages that we are talking about. So in one way or the other, I love the patriarchal modalities of how we grew up. As much as right now we can criticize it, but it made the men that our fathers were are no more. The men that our grandparents were are no more. The men that we have become are transitioning men. We are transformed. So we are transformed, of course, to be complacent of so many environmental factors, but then the inner instinct of raising a boy child still remains, that you must raise this child as a what? As a man, to see the man that my brother here is saying that should not cry. But as I like Ronnie's submission, with the sense that crying is not just shedding of tears.
It could be something else. Thank you very much, Tony. Sorry, George Willoughby. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to drive back the conversation to a topic, a statement that Tony said. So, in his presentation, he did with examples. I'm going to get a opportunity. But there is an example where he said that it's okay for men to open up whatever they are going through. For example, he gave an example saying he's the only person, whatever that goes around, if you live as a bad day at work, the first person to know whatever he's going through will be the woman, his wife to be, right? So the crying part is really, I think we are yet there, but allow me to drive the conversation to that. Before you, let me first give the mic to Mr. Innocent about that statement. Men opening up for whatever they are going through. What is your take about men opening up? Is it a sign of maybe being weak?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. So that question is really a broad, huge question to ask. I may need like 3 pages really to write about it. But
do you have a minute?
Yes, it is okay not to be okay. I think all of us have had that say. It is okay not to be okay. Crying, and I would like to go back to what you said. Crying has nothing to do with tears. Really, you can cry from the inside. Most of us do. We all cry for things, work, family, and all that kind of stuff. But one thing I did not agree is to I wish I could be taken back to exactly what you disagreed with the Bible. But I don't remember that. But I think at that time when I was listening to you, I disagreed with you on that one, in person. But I think you're right. The only thing I would like to project today, honestly, as I have this chance, is that when I wake up in the morning and I look in the mirror, every morning you shower, you do this before you go to with a kata, in the corner. What do you see beyond that picture? What exactly do you see? And that's what my dad used to tell me. What do you see in yourself? For others defining you. What do you see? Do you see that person? So those things we can have a discussion, another discussion, but that's what I see. I see so many good things in you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Innocent. I think that's the reason we are here. The man in the mirror.
Sorry to interject.
Yes,
like to defend my answer.
Yes, but the defense is just a quick one. Yeah?
Yes, correct.
Thank you.
Women are designed to help a man by the Bible. As a man is a helper.
Okay.
If she can't help me when I'm struggling with bills and she's making money, which kind of help does she give to me?
That one was, let's just finish this. Pastor Eddie, we're talking about the Bible, where this and that. So we want to know which scripture, where in the Bible, and that's the message for us.
So I made a comment at the beginning that at the risk of turning this into a full sermon, I'm sure I don't want that, but I can affirm this. I remember that conversation came from, and I think I have a duty to speak with authority on this one. That conversation, that disagreement came from the point you were making that if a woman feeds me for 3 weeks and they complain that they are doing my job, your statement was, you think they're right. And I want to say, I see exactly where that comes from. It will be consistent with how God has designed the interrelationship between a man and a woman. The structure of the home, biblically speaking, with millions of scriptures to defend that, is that the man is the head. So please remember this image, let it stick somewhere. So if you think of a physical body, without the head, the rest of the body cannot function. So if the hand was now the one to, let's say the head is away, the hand can really not do much. It really cannot do anything. So the conversation was about, we as men, we do have this, I'm gonna call it a privilege. I won't even call it a burden. It's a privilege to be the head. But of course it comes with a lot of responsibility. So when we have conversations like this, I pray that we bear that privilege. At the same breath, we bear that responsibility as well. So I just wanted to make a comment there, Mr. Karanga. What we are forgetting is where that conversation came from. It came from this thing is, should women play our role in terms of when it comes to who is supposed to bear the responsibility of feeding the home or the people in the home according to the Bible, and I will say it without any reservation, it is the man. Is it a bad thing? No, it's not a bad thing. But remember this also, as a way to balance this. So Ephesians 5, I think 20 or 21 going down. The Bible says that we do all this out of reverence for Christ. Out of the respect that we have for Jesus Christ. The man does this thing that we call laying his life down for the woman or for the family. Not out of how beautiful the wife is, not out of how respectful the wife is, not out of how 50-50 the wife contributes. Man, there's this, see, you're going to turn this into a longer thing that I was hoping to say. Ready? Yeah. So not out of any other wisdom or any other reason, but out of reverence for Christ. So if you're a man and you have some respect for Jesus Christ, you do the things that you do, my brother, because you have some respect for Jesus Christ, not because of anything. And that is Ephesians chapter 5, verse 20 to 21 going down.
Thank you very much. Just a quick one before you say it. I think Dennis was waiting. And for this, I think Dennis, could you just shift it to a different topic? Because when we stick on to this, we just turn everything around. So, a minute then from you, I'll just...
Moderator,
yeah.
After them, I have some people who want to.
All right, Dennis, you have a minute.
My brother Matt,
Yes.
we're in the same spirit here, because that's what I was trying to do. And I wanted to complement the conversation we've had here,
Yeah.
but look at them from a different lens.
True.
From a different lens, a sociological lens. We can talk about religion, we can talk about who the head is and who the minister and the vice president are, but I would like to introduce two words, very similar words, but complementary, different. The first one is nature. The second one is nurture. Nature is who you are as a man. With your voice, with your beard, with your muscles, who are you as a man from childhood to puberty to maturity? That's who you are as a man, naturally. But nurturing is different. How were you nurtured as a man? What were you told a man does? Those are two different things. When they say men go to war, when they say when a plane is about to crash, we children and women go out first, when they say things are happening in Gaza, women and children are being born, that is not nature, that is nurture. What have we been nurtured to do? So when we look at what Pastor Ed is saying and everyone is saying that, yes, men are the head of the family. Is that nature or is that nurture? Because there are very many male species that are not heads. The lioness hunts more than the lion. So what is nature and what are we nurtured to believe men are? I think that would guide us in our conversation.
All right, that's a good one. So a quick one, Dimitri. Yeah.
A very quick one. The same Bible also says something very key. It says, man shall not live by bread alone.
But with the word of God.
Exactly. So when we identify ourselves as the head of the house, our primary job is not to feed our family food. That's not the truth. Our primary job is to feed them a vision. Because there are many people who feed their families on a daily basis, but they're completely delinquent. They're not present. I give you the money to buy food, but I'm not present. So if this is being a man, then I have to say, I'm sorry, this is not manhood. The purpose of a man is to feed them a vision. And that's something key, because my brother says something the kid said, he based himself. So when he said that my heart started bleeding, I said, why was the time? He was not looking for food, he was simply looking for a man to compensate and to say, yes, you're my son. I love you, I'm going to be present. I may not have the money to feed you, but I'm going to teach you something key. I'm going to feed you a vision as to where you're supposed to go. And that's key.
That's right of that. That's a nice one. So also to inform you, men in diaspora actually do that you've just said. They feed the family, but some don't give the vision to the family. Tony, that's a quick one. I know you have something there, but we had some people in the audience. Can I, Eddie, he was the first person. Can I just hear? You have just a minute, right? And Philip, could you give me like many microphones in the audience? I really appreciate that. Because just have like a quick one. Yes, sir. Your name first and then your submission. Yes, Michael.
My name is Michael. I'm standing to oppose the emotion, right, starting from the beginning. Let's go back to the beginning of this world. God created the man. And when God created the man, if we all agree that God created the man, he has a position he gave man. He created man to be his representative in this world. If you read Genesis chapter 2, it says like that you are supposed to be the manager of this world, of your family, and all that God put in the world. So in other words, man is supposed to be the lion, man is supposed to be the head, man is supposed to be like the lead, the driver of each and everything around you, either the family, business, community, and everything. So me, I'm disagreeing when you say man is okay to cry. Yes, maybe it might be okay to cry, but you're supposed to be defensive in any situation. And if you realize, if you start to cry before any situation, sometimes you don't get really a real solution. For example, in the family, if thieves come in and you hide fast, nobody will protect the family. So that's why I'm saying I'm disagreeing when you say that man is supposed to.
So what's your
find out?
What's your perspective?
My perspective is man is supposed to be the voice. Man is supposed to be the soldier in the house, the commander, and he's supposed to be strong enough to defend whatever situation it is. So man is meant to be a manager of any situation, and if we take up in our responsibility as men, the world will totally change. So you're supposed to lead.
Thank you very much, Professor. So let's have Eddie first.
Eddie.
And if you're given an opportunity to speak, just know we're also racing with time. Just make it a quick one, and then, yeah.
Okay, I'm glad to be here. Let me go back to the point you said. Like, when you're not supposed to speak up.
Your name, just.
Eddie Basse.
Okay.
I'm going to the point you said, Tony Rest. When should a man speak up? That's the point you are. Because I'm diverting further.
Yes.
We are supposed to speak up. When you speak up, you are going to be heard. When you keep that thing within yourself, that's you are not going to hear. It's like people work in every sectors. If you don't believe that this HIV RVs, they're not going to do their job. If you don't believe that I'm HIV, you're not going to, within the mission context, it's not going to work. For you to hear, you have to first speak up. If you're going through like marriages, there are some issues you are going through. But if you don't speak up, who's going to help you? You're going to die in silence. At the end of the day, you're going to leave the house. So men, you should speak up, don't fear. Because when you speak up, you're going to be helped and you're going to be transformed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next person who will speak is this gentleman here. Maybe when you speak, I want you to just speak about this, away from examination. How should we speak out? And to whom should we speak out? But your submission first. Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Moses Shwaka. I am the outgoing leader of the men's ministry at Chicana Matters United Church. So my experience with dealing with the men in the ministry of my church has shown me that yes, while we are supposed to lead, as my brother said, there's no leader that comes to lead without compassion, without empathy, without strength, without provision, without understanding the needs of the least of those present. It may involve emotion. That's why Jesus wept when he lost Lazarus. It may involve understanding that that woman gave just all she had, and Jesus felt that for them. So it is not wrong for you to feel exactly how your emotion tells you to. Because when you read the Bible, you understand that there was anguish with the chosen leaders that God chose to lead his people. There was frustration. How was that expressed? When they hid in the desert, don't think that they walked bare feet with blisters on their feet in the scorching sun and did not cry. Although it is not mentioned, I believe they did. So that is what we have to understand, that as men, you have to lead not with an iron hand, but with a compassionate heart. I want to tell the parent who went and stood on the bedside of his son, to tell him you have to be strong. Well, that is good, but you're conditioning the child to mask fear, to mask pain. You cannot condition your children to mask pain. You cannot condition your children to mask fear. It is being authentic. It is not the macho kind of thing that we were created to be. Allow your children to be vulnerable. they will understand the world better. Because when you mask that, they contain it inside. And when it blows up, those are the men that I find in the parks, fishing, sitting alone, processing what went wrong. Because they did not allow themselves to be vulnerable.
My brother, before you sit down, that's a big one. How should we speak out?
One thing that, it was a challenging video that I saw, I think last week. We were challenged to think about those we loved. And I would challenge you to think about who you love. Come up with a name. Your wife, your children. Do you realize that you did not mention yourself?
Yeah.
Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
You cannot love somebody else when you do not love yourself. Reflect on yourself first. Love yourself. Look within yourself. Everything will be alright.
Thank you very much. A quick one from the back. That's the last one for this. Yeah, I'll give you time. But the last one from this session. Thank you very much, Dysfunctional. And I'm encouraging everyone to open up and speak, so you have a chance.
Thank you very much, Mano. We appreciate. My name is Robert Moiti of Advanced Delicious Chapats and Movers. My take on this is that after Christ, women are the biggest source of joy for men. And the reverse is true for women. But again, women are the biggest triggers of what makes us cry. 70% of the reasons men cry is because of women. And guess what? Because women are a weaker species, and as we say, we are proud, we are the heads. We don't want to cry before women. So we hide. Those who can hide, hide and cry. Those who can mask the pain, they mask it and die early. So we need to be guided.
Yeah.
You asked us, how do we speak up? Because we don't know how to speak up.
Right.
We also do not know how to be present, because you've told us we need to be present as fathers, as parents. The same time we have to use looking for money is the same time which is competed for to be present for women and our children. So if we don't look for the money, we shall not be present financially. If we give them all the time, we shall not have the money to quality. Because we are in a fix.
Yes,
men.
Thank you very much. I love that.
Swiss Mark is opened up a conversation, and I think the women are now blowing.
Yeah, just a minute. Just put this in your mind that in the evening we have a session about are women the real problem?
Are women the real problem?
Now that being said, I think we need to bring the house back in order.
Yes.
Tony, you give us a minute, right? But before Tony, allow me to welcome one woman. And I think that's Daphne.
I hope the house on first, but okay, for the women in the house.
Okay.
Thank you. My name is Daphne Maunga, the Executive Director of the Amara Girls Initiative. I'm not going to talk about women or argue with him. I'll wait for that opportunity later. But what I wanted to say is, in everything that has been said, if you don't find the courage to be real, to be yourself, then you're wasting a lot of time. The moment you're real and you're yourself, then everything moves smoothly.
Thank you very much, Daphne. That's a good one. In everything you do, be real. Tony, in everything we do, we have to be real. So how do we bring back this conversation to where you started from?
Yeah, my colleague was telling me, Tony, the problem you triggered the conversation is because I wanted us to be honest. That was the first catchword. We need to be really candid when we're speaking about these things. We need to talk about the uncomfortable things, like you raised it to him. We need to talk about the non-negotiables. So what are those non-negotiables? Because I feel like the conversation is misrepresented. And I see we are also, Charles, I think we are also time, so as men, Pastor Numa told us, men, time is also part of our responsibility. So what I wanted to say is that I'm going to use an example of King David. When King David was fighting God, I'm not very good at reading the Bible, but I'm learning. When King David was fighting Goliath, whom did he run to? Wasn't that crying? So crying is you speaking out. That's why we say pray.
I used to be part of Men Engage Alliance. So, and also we need to know that we are living in a different generation. We right now have Generation Z that doesn't care. Generation Z will tell innocent the father, no, I'm not going to do it. You know, I'm not going to do it. And they mean it. Because the system and the generation gives them the right to speak. So the question, the million question would be, how would you deal with this generation problem that we are having right now? And that is why Pastor Jumba and my brother were saying, let's go back to God and cry out to God, because God is going to give you answers to most of these problems. That's why I say, when we say the crying, we didn't mean tears. And he explained it very well. You're preserving. He asked you a very good question. When you go to fish, what do? You preserve. What do you use to preserve? Is salt.
Yeah.
All right? So I want us to, that's why I say for us to have a commitment or call to action.
Yes.
This is a problem that has been happening for centuries. Now, we are just now diagnosing the problem to come up with a medicine. Let me finish up, Mark.
Yes.
This is very important. Yes. So this is the starting point of the conversation. And I am committing myself. We are starting a platform called Next Generation Kings. That platform, like I said, is not a non-government organization. One of the members is George Lobo. We have had a lot of conversation. He's always asking me, when are we opening? So we shall have sessions, podcasts, bring different men speaking about these things, because I feel we need to educate ourselves. We need to have knowledge. I come from a school of thought of evidence-based, not opinionated. So let's be real. Like my sister said, let's be real. Let's be honest to each other. Let's continue having this conversation. Today we are not going to solve every problem, but I can guarantee you the next generation king is coming. We shall have these conversations and we shall build a society of responsible men in this world. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable for Tony. Allow me also to say that, Tony, if you start the session, the podcast, please make them live, not in the studio.
That's why I said I'm coming to you.
All right. So before we cross over to the next session, bear with me that there are many points that we have. And because of time, let's just go straight to the point, and then in the evening we have a chance where we shall go into breakout rooms with the new technology and the disconnect phones, and then we shall come up with solutions. Now, before I cross over to Ronnie, because we'll be the next session, allow me to ask this question to Dimitri, just a quick one. Someone in the audience called Daniel Mivule said, how can men balance social expectations with their own personal values and goals? Just a quick one before we welcome Ronnie. Once again, how can men balance social expectations, maybe societal expectations, with their own personal values and goals? Yeah, that's a quick one.
Yeah, the answer, great question, first of all. I don't ask the question, it's a great question. The answer is very simple. Nature is desperately looking for men and women of substance, not money, but substance. People with values and beliefs to share. Because we live in a society where everyone is part of the problem. People like Ronnie, who are willing to stand out and say, these are my values, these are my beliefs, are extremely rare. I would choose to ask myself the question, so why can you find these people? It would take boldness for you to speak up, to say, yes, let's agree to disagree. We're not going to fight, but let's just agree to disagree. I see where you're coming from when it comes to expectation, but even my values, and yeah, let me tell you why I have these values. And guess what? I just wanted to Africa to lay my dad to rest. And one of the key things that he was telling me before he passed away is always have values. Because at the end of the day, money will come and go. But one key thing that will never be taken away from you is your values. So defend them as much as you can.
Thank you very much. Always have your values. I think, Daniel, you've been answered. And then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to go to the next session, which is Diaspora settlements with ties back home. This session is going to be led by one and only Ronnie. So, Ronnie, you have 5 minutes to kickstart the conversation. Now, for some of you who don't know Ronnie, I think he will speak about it, so trust me, right? But now, he is a very known person when it comes out to speak out, and he speaks out from his heart. And allow me to give him an opportunity to speak in both languages. Those who understand Luganda and also those who understand English, who all of us we shall follow. So Dimitri, you will follow, trust me. So Ronnie, you have to kickstart the conversation, and then everyone will be welcomed to continue. Ronnie.
Thank you. Behind every successful man, there is a woman behind.
That's true.
But they never tell you good or bad, right? I have a woman that shaped my life, like myself. As a young man, you grow up, love, care. I love the word love because I thought of things like honey, calling me a baby, like at my old age. I didn't know it comes with privileges. No wonder a baby who is asked for money, and you have to look for a job. I'm one person who's starting to love death. Yeah, because I thought death is the highest point of, how can I call it, of pain. But I've never seen dead bodies crying. I've never seen someone dead, and I've seen people going through the pain, right? Then over time they say, let us put him to rest, because he's been through a lot, he's going through a lot. They put him to rest. But those who are resting, I've never seen dead bodies crying. When you die, everything is done for you. So, I think the most painful thing is not death, but living dead alive. That's the life we are living. When you break up, a woman can shape you in a life that will bring you to the next stage. You have fantasies, you have good life, when you are vibing, you talk, you go home, you buy gifts, stuff like that. You go over 1,000 things. You put money, you give him time, you give gifts, Most of us who have got an opportunity like today, women with kids, you find yourself in a trouble where you have to fix the puzzle that some other men didn't fix. Sending back school fees for those kids that you are on. There are facts you should know. When you grow up, there are things you should know. As a man, kids that have their father, when they grow up, no matter how sacrifices you do, they'll still look for their father. Because you're a man. And nobody will ever tell you that. Behind every successful man, there is a woman behind. Even a bad one can lead you to go somewhere. Why are you working so hard after the child support and stuff? You learn a lesson. Always after you break up, you learn something. Women, I think they are born to shape us. Either way, highs and lows. But amidst 1,000 things, there is always a life in life. Most of us are here. Some of us traveled a distance. Some of you even close, but they can't attend, which is okay. But at the end of the day, what do I call life in life? If you don't be you, and you live in your life to please people, you don't be you. You, being a good father, you should take care of yourself first. Why? Everything falls apart when you leave, including your kids that you're working for. You find most men here, I ask him a question, who has a second wife? None of you does. Women have like 5 persons. Go where you put the undergarments. You see, you have like 5 underwears. She has like 20. She has shoes everywhere. You go to the places where you put like lotions and stuff. She has 7 perfumes. You have 1. Most of us, we don't even. How often do you?
They have a skincare routine. It's a skincare routine.
Correct. Because they know. I did analysis, a research on something that I think most of you know. When you go to the cemetery, like most especially, you see the date of birth. And? Well, thank you. When you list, like, if let me say out of 100, you're gonna find 99 they're men who died first. And I strongly believe every one of you was one grandparent. Just put up your hand. If you just lost one of your grandparents and you have one. Any of you? Thank you. Woman or man?
The one who's alive is a woman.
Thank you. Most of you who has one grandparent, you're gonna find is a woman. If you have those aunties who are in 65s, 70s, all of them, you're gonna find them. They are widows, but men are gone. Why? Why? Most of us think we should be donkeys of the families. You should sacrifice everything we make. But indeed, you have to focus on yourself too. Because you matter. Let me tell you something. If you need to raise your kids, nice and good, if you need your kids to be somewhere, you have to be alive to raise your kid. Nobody can raise your kids for you. Most of us think, they always think about this. Most men, because you are taking care of the family, your family house, so you should do everything goes to the school fees, like in private schools, mortgage, everything. You end up not keeping anything for you. You don't eat good. When women come back home early, usually, they cook and they go to bed halfway. They eat mid-breakfast, they eat mid-lunch, something, at least. When you come back home, you find them home, but they're already asleep. She wakes up to give you food, and then she goes back to bed. You are coming 3 at night, hard work. How do you expect your life to be? So, it's a high time men should think your life has a post in raising your kids.
So it's a high time men should think your life has a post to raising your kids. But also, that's a big one that Ronnie, you have submission, but also there's this one that you made that women are born to shape men. Jesus. Do we believe this? Someone is saying some, someone is saying kind of. Now the question goes to George Willoughby. Is it, that's George Willoughby. Do you believe that women are born to shape men?
Thank you very much. In one way or the other, as Ronnie said, whether in the positive or in the negative, it is shaping.
Okay.
So whether it shapes you to die early, as he said, or shapes you to become stronger and better, that is actually shaping he's talking about. But what triggers a lot of other conversation in his submission is
yes,
the realities versus what you call in the previous presentations we are talking about, I think vulnerability. So, because men, like we men, women are very quick to understand where your vulnerability knobs are, and they use that advantage, of course, to be able to hold or keep you at that point. However, the topic of discussion is actually settlement and also life back home. When you look at how you're working for your children back home, and then you look at your life here, there are people that wake up very early in the morning and then go to work and come back very late in the night and sleep without shower. The last time I bought a trouser for myself, I can count, let's say, in years. You can't buy anything to either like motivate yourself, but you're actually working day in, day out. And when you check your account, you're actually in the negatives, but you're working every single day. Now, this is something very, I always like to give my examples with my personal self.
Sorry to interject. Isn't that being dead alive?
That is actually, I'm submitting with your submission, and I'm actually concurring with some of the things you're talking about. Because we are vulnerable, but there is also a reality in our vulnerability. In the sense that we don't admit that we are actually, I don't want to say that.
That's dead alive.
That is too strong, but it's a reality that you work so hard, but it is actually not realized. And by the time you get up to understand that you are actually dead, it is too late. And at the end of the day, the point that I wanted to emphasize is that the self-care is key to some of what Ronnie is trying to submit here.
True.
That I have to, first of all, look at myself and care for myself, the care of the caregiver. Because if I am caring for everyone, who is caring for me? If I'm meant to speak out to anyone, who am I speaking to? Who is counseling me if I'm counseling others? So at the end of the day, it is true, Ronnie, although your words are heavy, but I feel I concur.
John, thank you very much. Allow me to say this. That's a big one.
Sorry to interject.
Yes,
ask something from the pastor. If the Bible says love each other as you tell us when we put in our vows and stuff, right? Do they say love and not being loved, or love each other? What is loving each other?
All right, so let's get there.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ronnie. So let me first of all be real with you and straight with you. Loving each other would definitely mean that we all sacrifice for one another. Simple. So, but I want to make a quick comment. I want to make a very important distinction between what is and what ought to be. Very important. I am hearing a conversation about what is. All of us have our different what is. So the what is how things are. The examples you have, the families you've interacted with, the way you were raised up, that is the what is. It's a reality, it's part of our story, it's part of our reality. It is so, I preach actually as I think about it right now, it would be so dangerous, it would be so, what is the word? It would be hypocritical of me if I don't make this comment that we don't want to leave this conference having normalized what is as the way to live a healthy man and woman relationship. We don't want to normalize that. We need to call it what it is. If it is dysfunctional, we need to call it that. If it is unhealthy, we need to call it that. But we cannot call it the way things God intended them to be. How God intended a man and a woman to coexist is healthy. It's actually very beautiful. It's a beautiful thing for man to interact with with a woman. But if you find an interaction between a man and a woman that is speeding up the death of a man, There's a problem there. We cannot normalize that as the way things should be. There's a problem there that needs to be attended to, and the earlier we attend to it, the better. Otherwise, you are right 100%, I will agree with you. We will hit our grave way sooner than we were intended to if we don't attend to these things that are contributing to shortening of our life expectancy.
Yes.
So my dear men, my friends whom I have so much respect to, the things that are going on in our friends' lives, in our own lives, if they are unhealthy, we need to be bold enough to actually label it as such, but not to make it the way or the norm of how things should be between man and woman, or between husbands and wives, or between fathers and children. I have been there. I told you at the beginning, I have had the privilege for 14 years of working as a child protection worker. What that means, on a daily basis, I had the opportunity of knocking at somebody's door because a phone call came, whether from the school or from the police or from the churches or wherever the phone calls come from. And you get to see so much that is going on in people's homes. So much pain. Real. I'm talking about here in Canada. Some of you might think, oh, those things are in Africa. No, I didn't even mention Africa. I'm mentioning here in Canada. There are so many unthinkable things that are going on behind those closed doors. And we are part of those things. So I pray that part of what we take from this, we are taking so many things from here, but I pray that one of the things we take away from here is that there is indeed such a thing as a healthy marriage. There is such a thing as a healthy parenting relationship. There is such a thing. But if we find an unhealthy one, let's not normalize that as the way things ought to be. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pastor Eddie. To that, I think now the conversation is really open now, even to everyone, as it has always been open to everyone. As you come in, I think for me, submission is like you can't give out something that you don't have, right? For example, George made a good point where he said that how do you counsel people, or how could you sit down and advise others? Who advised you? This goes back to the people. I think when I usually use YouTube to listen to music, but there's always this advert that comes in of what do you tell a person who has not visited a therapist, right? And then the other person asks that maybe they know what's going on in their life. But I'll ask men here, how often do you seek for such services? Counseling, that's the question. He said, from where? You see, so that's why we are here, the man in the mirror. Dennis, from where? Because now we are going to be, we have to guide our children that we have, right? But how often do we receive that counseling, and from where?
Thank you, man. You see, when we started this conversation, we started by saying men are the head of the family, and Pastor told us we need to take care of the head because if you cut it off, then the body doesn't survive. But as the conversation has gone, we are not the heads anymore, we are the bodies. And stay with me. Because we are beginning to look outward at the women are making us die early, the children want this, we need this. We are beginning to project. Yet as heads, we are supposed to be looking inwards and say, what am I doing wrong? What can I do better? But instead we are saying, no, my problem is her, it's them, it's that, it's that. It's not me. We need to look into ourselves and say, what can I do better? Where did I go wrong? And so when you say, where? And I'm going to be speaking about this later when I spend time speaking. But you're living in Canada, and I see online discussions about whenever there is a divorce of a superstar or there is child support or this, and you see the toxicity, the anger between men and women, and I just look at the profile picture, and if it's a man, I know he's going to say something bad about women. If it's a woman, she's going to say something bad about men. And it's a battle online. You go on TikTok, you go on this, it's a real battle
oh, you cat woman, oh, you like this. We're throwing words that just become a real war. The actual war is not the nuclear war. The actual war is going on within our lives. It's going on within our homes. Why do you wake up and be so toxic to this female person you don't even know? Because you look at her as a representative of the female people in your life. The ones you cannot shout at. So you go on social media and begin shouting at this man, oh, you take our money, you do this, you're married for 15 years because a plan. You're saying that to that woman, but there's someone you're actually saying it to. So when you say, where can we go for this help? We know where to go for this help. We're just ashamed to acknowledge that we have a problem within that needs help. That's why we go to social media and shout out, yet we could go to a counselor and admit that I have a problem inwards that I need to deal with.
Maybe that's a good one. Maybe the question would be, I think, how could we normalize an act of asking for help to men as a good action, right? So that if I say, oh, I'm going to see, to be honest with you, in the circles that we are in, as I'm an age of manhood, right? Yeah, but
Are you sure?
I really try to be sure, right? Let me tell you something. When I tell my colleagues, oh, I need to see a therapist, or maybe Uncle Ed, I need to go and meet Pastor Eddie, and we sit down and talk about our own things, be like, what's going on, Mark? Mark, you have mental health or something, right? So, Mark, opening up to the first, can I have?
We have a submission.
Oh yeah. So, how can we normalize this, right?
Thank you very much. My name is Severino. So, before I make the full submission, I want to go back to our what we used to, I would say, societal norms. Right now, we are off guard because we changed the way we live as, I would say, as a family. For example, during those days when society was still together, a man was trained how to handle himself. I'll give you an example, and I'll put it in Luganda, translate it. One day I was just walking in the bush with my dad, and then I stepped on a long thorn, but in Luganda it's called Isongola Kuyeke. My dad told me, suck it up, you're a man. So when we look at society during that time, and the society today, there is a shift, or a paradigm shift. And this shift is either due to modernization, or there is one key thing that we are forgetting, that is law, or the constitution. So the law itself has created a gap between separating society, like the two individuals, that is a woman and a man. So if a man is supposed to maybe sit and discuss something amicably with the wife, sometimes the woman will say, or resent and say, maybe I'm going to use the law on you. The second thing is the issue of saying you die. The woman is always expecting you to die when you're still alive. So most times, the woman will use the children to prepare your death early. How? Because most times, if something happens, the wife will tell you, just in case if you die tomorrow, how are you going to leave us? That situation. So, the way you communicate with your family or with the people around you, as a man, because when I was growing up, they used to tell me that a man makes the family, and the family is the first place that governs before governance starts.
Yes,
so,
as you're summarizing.
Yes, I'm summarizing.
Thank you.
So we need to debunk the myth that is happening between the law and how our societal norms that we try to abandon, or we are trying to abandon. That is the issue that is leading us today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'll just put this to the side. Do you think we need, no, just put you on a side, we can talk about maybe later. So I don't think we need to bend the law, or we need to, but I think we need to find in between where the law connects with the society, right? But allow me to welcome Mrs. Yes, she's a counselor, and then I think she this is a good space for also women to speak and put their voice onto these topics. Please, you have it.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I just want to applaud all of you. This is such an incredible conversation, and thank you for your vulnerability. The how do we empower this level of vulnerability that is the path to healing? Jesus said, I must need go through Samaria, and with deeper understanding. At the time, everyone that was going from this journey to Galilee went around because Samaria was the vulnerable path. But he saw someone that was reliving the patterns of their life and was just about to enter into this last stage of life. 6 husbands, translation, without a healer, looking for a healer. And Jesus says, I must need to go through there to interrupt. Sometimes the loudest voice is not the voice of truth.
True.
I say it this way: instruction without relationship, genuine curiosity, understanding about the heart of the matter leads to oppression. And so when one is vulnerable, they might have a different opinion, and it might sound loud outside. What we fail to do is to be curious about the loud crying on the inside. And we get distracted by the loud voice on the outside. The key is to continue to give ourselves permission to be vulnerable, to go through Samaria, and be curious. The first thing that woman did, and so we could flip it to, if she was a man, the first thing she did was reject Jesus. You are a Jew, I'm a Samaritan, don't talk to me. And sometimes that's what we do. We reject what we need the most. We reject listening to what we need to listen the most. Jesus modeled to her compassion. Compassion. And so this is what I would encourage all of us. Get curious. When you hear something loud that is apart from what you might believe, get curious and remain compassionate, that you would truly get to the heart of the matter without being so tempted to give instruction right away. Because instruction without relationship to the heart of the matter has been the pattern of our culture that has replicated the destructive pattern of oppression, emotionally and otherwise.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mark. I think you're asking a very profound question. You're asking, how do we normalize asking for help or speaking out, speaking up? I think in a very quick way, he said something about the answer you're looking for. He said, we as men, in order to be able to take care of our children and our wives and our families, we need to first of all be alive. Yes. So let that be a motivation for us to speak up, to speak out, seek help, so we remain alive, so that we can take care of our children and our wives.
Thank you very much. Tony, allow me also to let you know this. I think this is a good practice. Wise man once told me, you know what, if you want to start something or do something big, start small. I think from Ronnie's presentation, he gave us an example that when you look at women, when you check our underwears, right, you have like 5 or 10. Women have 100, you know? So I think from the small things, how often do you buy shoes, right? For example, for the women, they always do skincare, go for massage, go for all that stuff. But it's from the small thing they start from. Do care about them. So, for example, to be honest with you, Pastor Edo, allow me to inform you that there's some who they don't care about brushing their hair. Be like, I'll just go out.
Sorry to interject.
Yes.
They also tell you to do something that you don't do for yourself. Hey, I need to go out.
Yeah.
You pay for them, like most of us. Like some guys here, you have gowns in the back in Uganda. Go out, send me pictures when you are out. But dude, when have you been out?
Yes. And let me just give an example. I think we have one of the youngest entertainers in the building, DJ Ballet. Thank you for coming. DJ Ballet has okay, for Pastor Disco. Anyway, I want, let me speak it out. Speak. So speak. And I think he even has an event coming soon about just a night, right? So I don't think DJ Ballet has, I think I saw him one time and I want to upload this for him. He and his team went out on a vacation. Because for whenever he's out making other people happy, for him he's working. So he got time and said, you know what, my close friends and my team, let's go out, is it Quebec? Let's eat life and then come back energized to give these people more what? Happiness. So, Tony, how can we normalize?
Thank you so much. I'll start with paying back yourself. One time, my partner asked me, when do you reward yourself? You provide this, you provide this. So we agreed. Every paycheck I get, I first remove like 20% for myself. So as a man, you need to be selfish for yourself. Like our brother said, Mr. John, that you can't love others when you don't love yourself. So for us, we have our own take at home. So we agreed 20% is mine first before I provide the 80%. So how do you normalize, just to go to the question, and it's a problem. I'm going to speak as an analyst, confidently, without fear or favor. We decide to get information from the sick people.
That's a good point.
You cannot ask malaria for medicine to cure malaria. When you get a problem, the first thing you do, you go to TikTok Live. Who is attending your TikTok Live? The haters, people who are there, they have no sense of direction, for lack of a better one. I'm sorry, but I'm a realist. So it is high time, let me even stand up. It is high time. Within your friends, do you think your friends are eligible to give you advice? And if they're giving you advice, what sort of advice do they give you? And this one I'm going to say it very clear. And Pastor Jumba knows why, but I'll say it. One of the things why marriages are breaking in the diaspora is because women, or even us men, we have sort of board of governors who give us advice. No, so the members of the board of governors, they are not married, they are unemployed, they are living into frustration, they are living into denial, they are the same people you're asking advice. Yet you have Pastor Eddie, who is a professional counselor, you have our sister there, you have Innocent, I'm here, you have these men. So, how do we normalize? Is getting the right information from the right people.
Thank you very much. Getting the right information from the right people. Second, as we're finalizing.
Secondly, let's be honest. We always want to make things to be real. For example, I'm going to give you an example. Because we always have gossip in our community. So someone was talking about someone, they didn't know that person, and they were telling that very person. You're talking about Innocent, but you're telling Innocent about Innocent.
Oh my God.
You see? So we are living in a community that is confused. So we need to get out from that confusion. By the way, we need prayers. We need prayers. First of all, we pray for our community to move out, because I see that it's a moral dysfunction as a problem. So to normalize, be honest, get the right information from the right people. Before you make conclusions, most of our women make conclusions before. They are quick to make conclusions. So let's get the right information from the right people. Let's have real conversations. If I go on your TikTok and I first take the people on your TikTok, I'll not be on that TikTok.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's pass over the mic to George Willobo. Yeah, okay. Before you wrap.
Before that, Pastor, we need to remind him that before it's 20%, the 10% goes to.
I think we need to give you a gift. You know, I want to give you a gift. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. I think, ladies and gentlemen, allow and agree with me that these conversations are really needed. And from what we've just submitted, Tony, I think from what we just submitted, point of where do you get the information? For example, the reason why I had this kind of conversation, not to have a presentation, sometimes when people come and present, you look at them as they know everything. But you see, when you have this conversation, we are actually going to table down the solutions. From these conversations, we're going to say, these are the solutions, let's try them and see if they work, right? These people here are speaking out of maybe experience, but they don't look at them as they know everything. So, as we summarize in this topic, I would love to welcome Ronnie once again. So, conclude.
To every fellow man here, at every stage of life, you need a particular woman. Look at yourself, who you are, where do you want to be, how are you getting there, then which type of a woman do you need? It's most important. Women don't care about sacrifices. Before you know it, if a better girl, if a better guy pulls in to your wife or a girlfriend, they will definitely go. The only things that women remember, the promises you made to her, even though it takes a month, even though it takes years, they will still remember. The bad things you did to her, they remember that. Always, even though, no matter how many good things you do, she will still remember the bad things you did to her. Then thirdly, the bad things she's planning to do to you. No matter how good you do, she's still gonna put back to herself the things that she's planning for you. Then lastly, the good things she did for you. Find yourself. Don't get lost. Where are you? Where do you want to be? How are you getting there? Which type of a woman you need? Don't get me wrong. Not every woman is bad. Women are good people, right? But we choose wrongly. We only see one qualification, which is beautiful. That's it. If not everybody that is beautiful deserves to be your wife. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ronnie. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, we've been sitting for so long. And then allow me, before we go for a stretching exercise, I want to tell you that since morning, we've not been playing. We've been talking about things that really make a lot of sense in our lives. And to just write it down for you, we had a discussion about the man in me by Mr. Tony, and we talked about a lot of things. Even what was outstanding was, are we supposed to cry? And I think now we know at least it's okay for someone to cry, So if you find me in the corner trying to cry, I will. Actually, why is in the corner? I will say, be honest. That was a very good, conversation, and we just needed one with Mr. Ronnie about settlement and then ties back home. And I think we have zeroed it down on showing ourselves love. Let's love ourselves more. So, man, get that perfume, get that nice shirt, take yourself out. DJ Blight has a show. If you are free to go to eat at church, we have youth activities. Be in those activities, come, sing and dance. And I want to tell you, like myself, I'm an example. To be honest, I have a lot of work. I give myself a lot of work. But I thank God that in my work, I get time and, have fun. Last time I was still dancing with, So people be like, hey, but how could a CEO dance? My friends, I'm loving myself more. So if you find myself going out, eating and drinking water, just know.
Did you just say water? Water? Say it.
So I also get to know that in Diaspora we have different platforms where men could gather and have fun. For example, like Abundance in Christ Church, we have a men's ministry. And of course, we have a meeting that is happening very soon, 23rd August 2025, right? It's happening tomorrow. So you be in those meetings. When you meet your fellow men, you can talk about those things. And then from there maybe you can even plan to go out and have I usually see my clients, mostly my clients are ladies because I take pictures. And ladies require pictures. So why don't we change? George, I want you to call me and say, Mark, I want to come to your studio to take me pictures. Just for no, like just to take pictures. You know, yeah. So that being said, I just want to thank once again, round of applause for the panel. And I also want to let you know, guys, that we are here the whole day, and we're going to be discussing everything to details. And now, because Coach Su, please come. This wonderful, amazing woman here is going to lead us into the session of stretching as we're getting ready for the next session. Allow me to tell you that we are here, everything is set, and we shall be having fun for this. So, take over the mic, and then, Uganda Matters, they also have men's ministry, right? Okay.
Okay, let's stand up. A very, very big hand clap for everybody, especially the men that are here. Give them a very big hand clap. This is a safe space for you to speak out. Let's talk about it and let's make things work. Are we together? Who feels good right now? Yeah. Clap once for me. Clap once for me. Just once. Clap once for me. Clap once for me.